Hi, I'm Connie from Prosperity Finance, sharing the best financial tips so that you can be more successful with achieving your financial goals. Today, I have a special guest, Gary Lin. Gary is a serious entrepreneur. He is also one of the leading New Zealand property investor, developer, and a property coach. Gary used to be a civil engineer for 12 years. He then started a journey to property investments. Now he is able to build a 14 property portfolio with net worth of $10 million. This allowed Gary to quit his paycheck job and focus his passion to help others to achieve financial freedom. Today, in this episode, I'm very lucky to have Gary to share with us if it's a good time to invest in property right now, and if so, what are the strategies we should use. Firstly, let's big welcome Gary. Hello, Gary.
Thank you, Connie. Hi.
Hi, thank you for your time, Gary, to come along our channel. Now, Gary, as discussed earlier, I hear a lot of our clients and prospects saying, now New Zealand property market is flat. It's actually not a good time to invest in property. Maybe wait to another good time, like 2014 to 16. However, on the other hand, I see you helping so many people actually purchase property and build their wealth. So it sounds a bit contradict. Can you please tell us if it's actually a good time to invest in property right now? And can you give us some tips? What kind of strategy you use?
Yeah, so it is what I'm about to say is in some ways it is going to contradict. So back to the question, is it a good time to buy right now? The answer for majority of investors will be a no. For a small number of investors, yes, very good time to buy. The reason I say no is because especially you need to think about in the last probably 9 years of investing is that we have been through from the bottom of the cycle to now past the peak now. So what the strategy that majority of investors, especially say in Auckland, major cities, the strategy has always been to focus on capital gain and neglect the cash flow, right? So in the last couple of years, that worked really well because the property market was going up, only one direction. But now the market is flat, and obviously Auckland has been flat for the last 2 years. I probably won't go into it, the reasons why, but generally, obviously, the bank have pretty much shut up shop in terms of lending, right? So obviously, less money available, then obviously, plus other factors like overseas lending, we call it AML and all that stuff, foreign buyer spend, but so anyway, so majority of investors that if you're looking to buy or thinking of buying today's market, you really need to go back to basics. Basics, that means you need to focus on cash flow, right? Because the old strategy of rely on capital gains is not going to work. I mean, sure, you can buy under value, like all properties in Auckland, say CV or $1 million or something like that. You can easily pick it up for 900, probably even less than that now. Right, and that's the market. It's no different to shares and things like that. Is that market, goes up, a lot of the times and comes back down a little bit, But the thing is that if you keep using the old strategy of waiting for cash flow, you might wait a while, right? And also, even if you can buy the property under value, which you should do anyway, like say 20%, 30% under value, then you can recycle the equity, right? And then hopefully you can buy the next one. But the thing is, it has to be cash flow positive. And I'm not talking about, you're putting down 50% deposit. I'm talking about 100% lending. You need to always work on 100% lending on what you purchase. And if it's 100% lending and it's still positive cash flow, it still pays you every week in terms of net rent, then that's a good investment, right? And it doesn't matter what the market does, as long as you minimize the risk you have and the more cash flow you have, that's always best, because a lot of investors, they make the mistake of using their income to supplement the mortgages. But the thing is, you can only buy so many. Like I've got 14. Imagine if every property cost me $100 to look after a week. That's $1,400. That's a lot of money. So the reason I grow such a big portfolio is actually because of the cash flow that I bought early. I started in 2010, so that was a really good time. In a lot of ways, it's probably similar to now. So definitely, majority investors that if they don't change their thinking, they don't change their strategy, then no, that now is not a good time to buy. For investors like myself and my students, that now is a really good time to buy. I wouldn't say it's easy though, because in a flat market, it's always. Right now the thing is, we're not really in a recession or things like that. So for example, if you go to a property, they're asking for 800,000, you put in an offer of 600, you're gonna get a lot of rejection, right? But you've got to be able to do that. If you don't do that, then how are you going to pick up a good deal? And also cash flow as well. So if you can't buy cash flow properties under value, then it's okay to wait. You can always wait a couple of years later when markets are going up again. But then the problem also then is that majority investors will be back in. Right now the investors numbers are really low by historical standards. And everyone is on the sidelines and looking at what the market is doing, So those are the ones that are riding the wave, right? So obviously the tide has gone out a little bit, so they're just sitting on the beach, right? So you can invest a few years later when the market is back again, but then everybody is jumping back again as well. So the chance of buying bargains is going to be even harder, probably. But as the market changes, you have to adapt to the market conditions.
Great, Gary. Thank you for that insights. So I guess, as you said, at the moment is less competition. So there's more possibility that you can get a good property with higher kind of yield to build your cash flow. Yeah. So from lending perspective, I've been doing mortgage broking for the last 6 years, and then see the bank change policy almost every month, and it makes harder and harder for property investors to borrow. So yes, it's kind of out of our control, but I guess you can still relatively find a better cash flow property, but with the knowledge and a good mindset. So I'm a big believer of education. I think property investments is no different. It's better to have someone on your side to support you to minimize the mistakes that you can make if you do it all by yourself. So excellent. Thank you so much, Gary. If you want to find more about Gary and how he can help you to invest in property, feel free to contact Gary. We'll put his contact details in this video below. And he also has a website, www.garylin.co. So feel free to inquire with Gary. He has helped so many people to achieve their financial wealth. So he can definitely help you as well. Thank you so much, Gary, for your time today. I'm sure a lot of people probably surprised that actually it is a good time. It's really about mindset and strategy. Okay, thank you for listening, and if you like our video, please feel free to subscribe our YouTube channel. Every week we have the latest financial tips to help you achieve your financial goal. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Bye, Gary.
Cheers. See ya.